Hey, what's up, guys? So, I wanted to make this video because I thought it would be kind of funny. The elite Prager University at one time employed a strapping young uber Chad named Will Whitt. Will was obviously just a dumb, sexy frat bro meant to attract young, closeted gay men to their channel. Anyway, he was on a PragerU radio show a while back talking about the definition of capitalism, and it's very clear he has no idea what he's talking about. And then more recently, Ben Shapiro, who is only slightly less dumb, but nonetheless considered an intellectual, made basically the same arguments as Will, who, I'm not trying to be mean, has the IQ of Patrick Starr. These guys who are staunch defenders of capitalism don't even know what it is, which I find hilarious. I figured since these two titans of conservatism have a lot of influence, a lot of people probably believe the same things. So let's watch these clips and then discuss on the other side.
There's a difference between capitalism and crony capitalism, all right? When you have corporate interests controlling this country, when you have people who get elected to Congress, who get elected in city councils, all these different things, governors, who get money from these shadow corporations who are basically buying them off, that's not capitalism, okay? People think that this is like some product of capitalism. It's not capitalism. That is our bureaucracy running amok with corporatist money. That's why we're controlled by these corporatists, because we have these super PACs. Like, that is not fair. That is not fair to have happen. It just means that the person who can get the most support from corporate interests is going to win every single election.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. Our country is controlled by these corporate interests. Capitalism is, you have a sandwich, I have $5. I give you my $5, you give me the sandwich. That is all capitalism is. You can explain it in literally 10 seconds. It's so simple a child can understand what capitalism is. Mutual transactions. Crony capitalism is when corporatists are coming in to that same sandwich scenario and saying, no, we are going to give this guy $1 off for these sandwiches and give him special privileges so that the other guy can't make sandwiches the way that he likes to anymore.
Yep.
It is not a free market in America. Go to a Nordic country, go to Sweden, go to Denmark. Look at how their markets run. They are much more free than we are here in America with our regulations.
Yeah, we are.
One of the great failures of Wall Street and of big business in general, they are not capitalist by nature. They are profit-seeking. There is a difference. Profit-seeking means that you will find money wherever it lies. So if the best way to make a profit as a business is to get in bed with corrupt Democrats, you'll do it. You'll rig the system for your own benefit if you can make a profit. A capitalistic company is one that will not do those things.
So first I want to point out a couple of things Will said because they're really fucking stupid. And then I'll address the argument that both Will and Ben made about crony capitalism and how it's supposedly different from real capitalism. Okay, so the first thing is the super rigorous definition of capitalism that Will lays out. I call it the PB&J argument. If you have sandwich and I have $5 hairs and we trade, then boom, that's a capitalism, baby. Well, I'm afraid that's incorrect, Mr. Witt, which I'm now realizing is an ironic name. If you don't know, exchanging goods or services for money or other commodities actually predates capitalism by quite a bit. Capitalism is not the only economic system which has exchange of goods through a market. Feudalist and socialist societies both have markets. So what distinguishes capitalism from socialism? Well, it's not the existence of markets, right? The key difference is who owns and controls the means of production. In the case of capitalism, there's a class of people who own the businesses through shares of stock or direct ownership, and as such, they control the business either directly or through a board of directors. They also have the right to receive dividends from the profit generated by the labor of the workers of the firm. So the capitalist class earns most of their income and wealth through capital gains, not from working. They are non-productive in that sense, or parasitic if you prefer that terminology, which I do. One more thing on the sandwich definition. I'm not sure if Will is aware of this, but most people aren't sole proprietors walking around trying to sell their rancid sandwiches. Most people are working class who have to sell their labor in exchange for a wage to make that sandwich, and because capitalists are in the business of making money and not just breaking even, they have to pay workers less than the value they produce. In this case, sandwiches. We call that difference profit. And yes, Ben, capitalists are very much interested in earning a profit. That is an essential piece to the definition of capitalism. The other thing Will mentioned was that the United States has a more regulated economy than Scandinavian countries. This is a common talking point that is almost completely baseless. It sounds like there are barely any regulations, that businesses can get away with a lot more than US companies. But what's actually being measured when comparing the US and Scandinavia is basically how many steps it takes to start and close a business and get electricity for said business. So, anytime someone brings this up, ask them what specific regulations the US has and Scandinavia doesn't, and watch their head spin. And if they do look it up, they're going to find out that it's just a little bit of extra paperwork, not the types of regulations people actually care about. Alright, now what about this distinction between capitalism and crony capitalism? As a reminder, Ben said that profit-seeking Wall Street firms are not capitalist, which I'm just in awe of how stupid that is. They absolutely fit the definition we laid out earlier, which is an enterprise owned primarily by a small group at the top that is trying to generate more revenues than costs and paying out some or all of the profit to the owners. That's it. The idea that companies, especially large ones, would influence or control the government to their economic benefit does not contradict the definition of capitalism at all. In fact, it's a really effective way of preserving the capitalist order. The bigger you get, the more influence you have to control the legal and regulatory landscape to benefit you, the bigger you get again, and so on. To be sure, there are ebbs and flows, but the capitalists have always come out on top. Under Will and Ben's definition, only businesses that fall under a certain threshold of economic activity that makes it impossible to influence government are the true capitalists. This is obviously incorrect. I mean, would Will and Ben not call people like J.P. Morgan or John D. Rockefeller capitalists? They both had tremendous influence over government. Hell, according to Ben's definition, his orange daddy, Donald Trump, wouldn't be considered a capitalist. Trump bragged about donating to both Republicans and Democrats. In fact, what did he actually say about this? Oh, here we go. It's smart. It's called being an intelligent person and a great business person. But the truth is that if you're going to be a business person, even in the United States, you want to get along with all sides because you're going to need things from everybody. And you want to get along with all sides. It's important. Well, I guess Trump is not a capitalist, which would make him a crony capitalist, which means both Ben and Will should despise Trump. But that would require them to be logically consistent and not complete morons. Or hacks. Well, hope you guys liked the video, and if you didn't, you can go fuck yourself. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.